I wanted to talk a little bit about the small changes. A lot of people, when they come and utilize lifestyle medicine or natural medicine, if it's used in the true way, not this manipulation-based sales tactic, whatever we see out in the world today, but in a true way, when you are implementing these things day to day, right? When the rule is the rule, you have to put it in every single day of your life. That's how it works. Just like breathing, just like eating, just like drinking, just like moving, just like everything else, these rules are what is governing and communicating and interfacing with your cells, therefore your tissues, therefore the entirety of you. So it has to be a day-to-day thing. It has to be a dose-by-dose choosing. And I often see people feel like they can't trust that, or feel like they don't know that they believe that if they continue to do these things that they get the results. But when you're dealing with true medicine, that's one thing that's totally separate and totally different than a manipulation-based therapeutic like a cleanse or a protocol with supplements or herbs or these very short-term things to manipulate the body into submission of how you want to feel or present. And it's just so temporary because it's going to bounce back to the reality, which is what your life looks like. So when you're using true medicine, when you're living in a certain way, breathing in a certain way, interacting with light in a certain way, understanding how your body communicates with all of those things, the results are guaranteed. And the believing is the most practical thing. And the best example of that is if you didn't understand that the skin could change with sunlight exposure, you didn't understand anything about melanin production or pigmentation changes or skin types or UV or full spectrum light or anything like that, and you accidentally fell into the rules, you accidentally had sun exposure every single day for a certain amount of time, you could not get the results. The results are guaranteed even if you didn't understand them. When you understand them, you get to interface with them differently and get a different outcome. So just like even again with sun exposure, if you didn't understand that and you pushed your skin past its limit, or you changed your location on the globe, or you were doing all these other things in your life that sensitized your skin and you had a sunburn, it's not your body being wrong, and it's not nature being wrong or out to get you or some flaw in the system that only resides in you. It is you broke a rule, and you can change that and actually use that input in a medicinal way if you understand it, and you understand your body, and you understand how your body very uniquely communicates with that input. So this is all things in life, and this is why I love this medicine, because it's guaranteed if you do it. If you don't do it, if you just listen to it and read it and read it and read it, it's not going to do anything. Just like you could read about getting a tan all day long, and it might, if you have really employed the powers of the mind, could get a slight change in pigmentation, but you're not going to see the drastic changes that somebody who accidentally was following the rules would get, because they were actually in the communication with the input in the way that it needed to be received. And so this is all things in life, and that's why everything's upside down and sideways, is because everyone wants to sell you, the quick fix, the, do this thing one time or swallow this, when it's actually a living thing. It's the whole entirety of you and all of these inputs and how they have a cause and effect. And if you don't know them, it doesn't mean that it doesn't still happen. But when you do understand them, when you play by the rules, then you actually get to play. And that's why I love it so much. So you can break a rule, but break it intelligently to still get a benefit, versus just blindly feeling like you're at the mercy of a flawed body. It's not true. Every human body is perfect. Every human body has to respond to the life that's being lived and what it's being exposed to and how that's interpreted and received. And that's exactly what your body's showing you. If you don't like it, you've got to get in there and change in a real way. And it's not going to be supplements, creams, potions, pills, surgeries, all of these different measures that we have to manipulate the body out of telling you the truth. So you've got to go look at the truth. You've got to follow the rules that are on this planet. And when you do that in a very beautiful, artistic, playful way, it's not rigid. It's not, lifeless. It's so full of life, and it teaches you, and it starts showing you the language of your body that's been there the whole time. So it's this beautiful thing to really fall in love with and really think through on your own. I always love using the example of a tan, right? when it comes to these laws and these principles and the way the body works with nature and all these things that are required for a physical body to do what it does. It's just as simple as thinking through, with somebody who didn't know anything about sunlight, didn't know anything about skin, didn't know anything about all the science of how that would work, could they still get a tan if they followed the rules? Absolutely. You couldn't prevent it. And that's the cool thing. That's how your body works. Your body, life is for you. And a lot of times we are in the way, and you just got to get out of the way. Or you can play the game and break the rules, like I say, intelligently, and remove the fear from the interpretation of your living. And that's still an improvement over feeling, again, fearful about everything and anything that could ever communicate through your tissues.